And Ukraine's military says Russian troops are now inside the steel factory in Mariupol as Moscow steps up its attacks in the eastern part of the country. And Debora Patta is in Ukraine with us now to discuss the very latest. Debora, thanks so much for joining us. So first off, President Zelenskyy has asked the head of the United Nations to help save the lives of the remaining wounded Ukrainians trapped underneath that steel plant in Mariupol. I think about 100 people were able to get out with the help of the UN and the Red Cross, maybe more. What's the latest that you're hearing about the situation there and advances in the eastern region in general?
And Marie, there are a couple of hundred civilians still trapped inside that steel mill. And bear in mind, they've probably been there since the war began. They're holed up there alongside hundreds of Ukrainian soldiers who are staging a last stand against the Russian invasion into that city as Russia desperately tries to take complete control of Mariupol. After 2 months, they still have not managed to do that. Now, as you correctly pointed out, some civilians have been evacuated, and today Russia announced that they would set up humanitarian corridors or allow them to be set up over the next 3 days, and that civilians could be evacuated during the day between 8 and 6 p.m., that they would not fire at the steel mill during those hours. But it is important to point out that there have already been at least 20 failed attempts to get those civilians to safety. It's a very dangerous process, which is why they haven't been able to flee in the past. So that remains to be seen as to whether they'll actually be able to get out of that steel mill. And in the meantime, Russia continues to pound that mill. They have ramped up their offensive in the east, and the big focus now is on Mariupol, which, despite relentless bombing and pounding, Russia still hasn't managed to gain full control of yet. Anne-Marie?
So Russia is gearing up for its May 9th Victory Day parade. It's not just about the parade. This is a significant date. Many are watching to see what Russia will do next. Why is this significant?
Well, Anne-Marie, May the 9th is important to Russia. It's their annual Victory Day parade, as you pointed out, and it marks Nazi surrender to the Soviets. But it also fits in with Vladimir Putin's narrative in that he claims that he is here to try and denazify Ukraine. Of course, that has been proved to be absolutely false. You're not even allowed to call this a war in Russia, but it clearly is a war. And he had hoped, Putin had hoped, that by the 9th of May, at the same time as they had this Victory Day parade, that they would have some kind of victory. Now, that clearly has not been the case. Over 2 months of fighting, Russia has only managed to take one city. They've been pushed out of Kyiv. They've advanced now towards the east. That offensive has been ramped up, but it's stalled along the way. There hasn't been really any significant progress. But May the 9th is his target date, and that's perhaps why they're going on this all-out offensive in Mariupol, to at least try and get that under control. It's an important city because it would help them create that land bridge from Crimea that Putin is so intent on doing.
Yeah, these next few days will certainly be key and very concerning. Debora, thank you very much.